Right, the age-old question. Toyota versus Honda. It's a debate that has raged in pubs over garden fences and in the comment sections of the internet for decades. It's the automotive equivalent of asking whether you prefer a cup of tea with the milk in first or last. For as long as I can remember, these two Japanese titans have been the default answer for anyone seeking a car that simply works. They are the sensible shoes of the motoring world, promising to get you from A to B with the minimum of fuss, drama, or unexpected and ruinously expensive mechanical catastrophes. It's a reputation built not on flashy advertising, but on millions of miles of dependable service. But is that reputation still deserved in 2025? The automotive landscape is shifting faster than ever. Cars are no longer just engines and wheels. They are complex ecosystems of software, sensors, and infotainment systems that would baffle the engineers of yesteryear. With all this new technology, has the legendary Japanese reliability begun to fray at the edges? The promise of a car that will start every single morning, without fail, is a powerful one. It's a form of freedom, really. This essay, then, is an investigation into that very promise. To properly get our heads around this, we must first look at the cold, hard facts. Numbers don't have brand loyalty, they just are. Historically, Toyota has consistently occupied the upper echelons of reliability rankings. Historically, Honda has consistently occupied the upper echelons of reliability rankings. For much of the 1990s and the 2000s, you could almost flip a coin between them. They were the gold standard, the benchmarks against which all others were judged. Their success was built on a philosophy of Kaizen, or continuous improvement. Instead of making revolutionary and potentially problematic leaps in technology, they refined and perfected their existing systems, making small, incremental changes year after year. This resulted in powertrains and chassis that were, frankly, almost bomb-proof. Looking at the more recent data leading up to 2025, the picture has become a bit more nuanced. Toyota, for the most part, has maintained its position at or very near the top. Their strategy of cautious innovation means that when they do introduce new technology, like their hybrid systems, it has been tested to within an inch of its life. Honda, on the other hand, has had a slightly more varied journey. When it comes to judging cars, there are two names that carry more weight than most: Consumer Reports and J.D. Power. They are the stern headmasters of the automotive school, and their annual reports are the exam results that every car manufacturer dreads. They gather vast amounts of data from hundreds of thousands of actual car owners, making their findings incredibly robust. For 2025, their reports continue to paint a familiar yet detailed picture of the Toyota-Honda rivalry. Consumer Reports, in particular, combines road test scores, owner satisfaction, and predicted reliability to create an overall score. And Toyota consistently shines in the reliability portion. In the latest Consumer Reports annual auto reliability survey, Toyota once again finds itself at the pinnacle of the rankings. The brand's average predicted reliability score, often in the high 70s or low 80s out of 100. This is a testament to their unwavering focus on build quality. Honda is no slouch, mind you, frequently landing in the top 5 with a very respectable score, typically in the high 60s. The main distinction that Consumer Reports often highlights is the consistency across Toyota's model range. Nearly every Toyota model, from the Corolla to the Highlander, receives a high rating for reliability. Honda's lineup can be a bit more varied. J.D. Power's approach is slightly different, focusing on their problems per 100 vehicles metric, their initial quality study, and their vehicle dependability study. In the 2025 VDS, which examines issues in 3-year-old cars, Toyota continues to demonstrate its strength. No car is perfect, not even a Toyota or a Honda. Toyota, Honda. Eventually something will wear out, it might need adjusting, or simply decide it has had enough. The types of problems owners report tell us about each brand's engineering priorities. For Toyota, common complaints are often, frankly, a bit boring, which is exactly what you want. Issues that do pop up tend to be minor and non-catastrophic. For instance, on some older models you might see sticky power window switches, or a water pump needing replacement after 100,000 miles. On more recent models, the biggest grumble is often the infotainment feeling dated or clunky. These aren't the sorts of issues that leave you stranded in the pouring rain. Catastrophic engine failures are exceptionally rare on Toyotas. Catastrophic transmission failures are exceptionally rare on Toyotas. Toyota's core mechanicals are engineered with a huge degree of overbuilding. They use proven designs and durable materials that often outlast the warranty. That's why you still see so many old Camrys about. and Corollas looking battered but running sweetly. Toyota's most significant recent issue was the unintended acceleration recall over a decade ago. It was addressed, and they've been dependable since. Honda's list of common ailments is more varied, reflecting a more adventurous engineering spirit. In recent years, some owners of 1.5-liter turbo models reported oil dilution issues. Gasoline mixing with engine oil was reported. The problem showed up especially in cold climates, and on lots of short stop-start trips. Honda addressed this with software updates and extended warranties, but it did dent their reliability scores a bit. Digging deeper than just the brand names, we find that both Toyota and Honda have their star performers and occasionally models that don't quite live up to the family name. Within the Toyota stable, it's almost difficult to find a model that isn't a paragon of reliability. The Toyota Camry is legendary. The Toyota Corolla is legendary. The yardstick for reliable family cars. It's not uncommon for these models to receive perfect or near-perfect reliability scores from Consumer Reports year after year. The Prius has a famously robust hybrid system and is astonishingly dependable. It often defies critics who predicted expensive battery failures that never materialized for most owners. The Toyota Highlander is a champion of durability. The Toyota 4Runner is a champion of durability. The 4Runner is a bit of a dinosaur, old-school body-on-frame construction. Its powertrain has been in service for over a decade. That lack of change is its greatest strength. Kinks worked out ages ago, leaving a vehicle that's famously tough and long-lasting. Even Toyota's worst models, like the first-generation CHR, had some complaints about their powertrain. Even so, they're still highly reliable compared to many other brands. Honda's report card is also filled with high marks, though with a few more notes from the teacher. The Honda Civic is a perennial high achiever. The Honda Accord is a perennial high achiever. For decades, they've offered reliability, they've offered efficiency, and a more engaging driving experience than many Toyotas. The CR-V is another stalwart, one of the most reliable compact SUVs on the market. These models form the bedrock of Honda's reputation. Reliability is a number, a statistic. Satisfaction, on the other hand, is an emotion. It's about how a car makes you feel, not just whether it starts in the morning. This is where Toyota and Honda start to blur, and sometimes reverse. Toyota often wins on cold, hard reliability data, but Honda frequently scores higher in owner satisfaction. That seems contradictory, but it makes sense when you consider their philosophies. A car can be perfectly reliable and still be mind-numbingly dull. So here we are, at the end of our deep dive. We've sifted through these statistics, consulted the oracles, and listened to the owners. After all this, who wins the great reliability showdown of 2025? If we must declare a single, undisputed champion based on the purest definition of reliability, which is the statistical likelihood of avoiding problems, the crown has to be placed, once again, on the head of Toyota. The data is clear and consistent. From J.D. Power's PP100 scores to Consumer Reports' predicted reliability ratings, Toyota consistently demonstrates a small but measurable advantage over its rival. Their philosophy of conservative, incremental improvement results in vehicles that are, quite simply, less likely to go wrong. This is not to say that Honda builds unreliable cars. That would be an absurd conclusion. Honda remains one of the most reliable automakers on the planet, producing vehicles that are far more dependable than the industry average. However, their willingness to innovate more quickly, particularly with powertrains and in-car technology, has introduced a degree of variability that Toyota has largely avoided. So the choice comes down to your personal priorities. If you are a pragmatist, a buyer for whom the single most important factor is minimizing any and all potential for faults, however minor, then Toyota is your answer. A Camry, a Corolla, or a RAV4 is the closest thing you can get to a guarantee of trouble-free motoring. It is the sensible, logical, data-driven choice for ultimate peace of mind. But if you allow a little bit of your heart to influence your head, the choice becomes more complex. If you want a car that is not only exceptionally reliable but also engaging and fun to drive, then Honda makes a compelling case. But in the final, hair-splitting analysis of 2025, Toyota's unwavering, almost tedious dedication to perfection gives it the slightest of edges in the reliability race. Good. Now, where did I put my keys?